Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the second part of today's C-VoUCHER webinar series. I guess most of you have participated this morning to the webinar of my colleague Marie, who interviewed impact investors and large corporates on how to generate value from circular economy. Now, the next 45 minutes, we will inform you about funding opportunities within the EU project C-VoUCHER. And when speaking about we, I basically mean myself. I am Ramona. I'm responsible for investor activities at BLUMORPHO. BLUMORPHO is the disruption partner for leading industrial players, and we are especially working on bankable challenges and sustainable business models, where C-VoUCHER plays an important part in. I am glad to have Ola Skalska with me. She is project coordinator of C-VoUCHER at FundingBox Accelerator. And she is basically the first person for you to contact if you want to know something about C-VoUCHER, about the different acceleration programs we run, or how to apply to one of our open calls. Ola, I'm very happy to have you here today with me.
Thank you, Ramona. Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to be here.
Before we start and dive into the topic, I give you some rules or information for today. Oops, wait. First of all, we will record this webinar and we will publish it afterwards. So you can watch it as often as you want, even after the application, when the application is closed. Second, as some of you have already seen, there's a question box in the toolbar, and there you can add your questions all along the webinar. And we have defined some slots where we come back to this question box and check what we can answer for now. And of course, we will distribute the slide deck after the webinar. And in case there are also questions that we might not have answered today, we will come back to you with the answers on these questions. So, but what's our plan for the next 30 to 40 minutes? So first of all, Ola will start with the general introduction of C-VoUCHER. Then I will take over for the adopters call, because BLUMORPHO is responsible for this one. And at the end, Ola will explain you the second open call for Circularity SMEs. But before we start, we have a question for you. We are curious to know why you are here today. So you should see the question. Let me know. Yeah, you're answering. Perfect. So exactly, it's basically, do you want to learn more about the open calls? Do you want to learn about circular businesses in general? You want to develop your own circular business, or you are mainly running a circular acceleration program yourself and you want to see how we are doing it? And the results are very interesting. So most people are here, obviously, to hear about the open calls, but also to learn about acceleration problems is very dominant. And let me have a short look to the question box right now. Okay, perfect. Nothing severe for the moment. So many thanks for your answers for the moment. And we would start with a very simple question. Ola, what is C-VoUCHER?
Thank you, Ramona. Well, that's a good question to start with. It's a beautiful day to talk about funding your circular businesses, and that's why we're here today. So basically, C-VoUCHER is the biggest acceleration program that is funded by the European Commission. And it has this trendy new focus on circular economy. As we know all, there is no planet B. The European Union is basically supporting whoever could save us all here introduce new business model, and transform into something more sustainable. So in general, the C-VoUCHER consortium has over 4 million euros to support at least 66 European SMEs. And I'm the project manager from FundingBox. I have 13 amazing partners with me on this journey. If you're interested in the entire concept of the project, absolutely, by all means, please see the European Commission site or see the project website that I will show later. So 4.2 million euros, that's a lot of money. We are thinking that it could help plenty of you. And in order to make it more structured, C-VoUCHER prepared 2 different acceleration programs. First of all, there is something we call Circularity program with up to 60,000 euros grant in the form of voucher for you to implement a particular circular technology. And then we say, for whomever is not ready for the implementation yet, we designed something a bit smaller that we called Circularity Value Replication Program. And this is basically the theoretical approach before you're ready to execute. Maybe you want to create a business plan. Maybe you want to figure out what to do with your company, with the premises, with the resources you manage daily. So that's why we have the smaller option available here. Basically, the major difference is in the amount of funding. We're going in between 15 and 60,000 euros per company. We're also looking at these 2 opportunities on the timeline. So the bigger the Circularity program offers you up to 9 months of a support by a very important person during this transformation period, a designer. So the designers help and all the services provided is on top of the money you will get. So this is a dedicated person that will work with you in order to reshape the business. And then at the end of the both programs, we have the same element. We don't want you to leave C-VoUCHER and just have it done and closed and dusted. We want you to see what other further funding opportunities you might be able to identify. So in order to do that, we are offering, again, on top of everything, business mentoring. These are people like Ramona from BLUMORPHO. These are public funding experts from EcoNet, another partner in my consortium, basically guiding you through the process of how you get to VC, how you find an investor, how you pitch, what you can do in terms of public money, where the European Commission is willing to support you and how. So that's the basic structure. As you can see, the major effort from your side is the dedication of time in between 3 to 9 months. So we're hoping you're ready to do that and you have the time, the energy, the resources, and the interest in the subject. So that's a very short introduction. We will talk in detail about adopters program, the replication one, and the circularity. If there are questions, there will be plenty of time to answer them. If there is anything I can help with, there will be a help desk email address later on, and I have access to this one. So please address me anytime before the deadlines that we will mention in a few slides. All right, so I guess that that was the introduction, Ramona.
Exactly, and now we have a question for our audience again. We would like to know if there are people that have already started their applications. Okay, wow, I'm a bit surprised. So a strong majority has not started yet their application, neither for the replication nor for the circularity program. Well, Ola, do you want to continue on this?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, in order for you to find us, please feel free to, first of all, join the community, something that we created, and you have the address on FundingBox domain. That community is a place to share ideas, to look for partners, and first of all, get the updates on the open calls. So absolutely, I would recommend it as your first source of information. C-VoUCHER.com, that's our website. Very extensive description of what we're doing and where we are as a project. Or if you prefer to use something more, social and dynamic, we are everywhere. We're LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere that you probably visit daily. So yeah, join us.
Okay, thanks, Ola. I would now continue with the replication program, and just a reminder for all of you, when there are questions in your mind, please write them down in the question box. At the end of this introduction of the replication program, I have a short slot where I can come back to your questions related to this program. So we have launched the first call for adopters this year, basically in summer, and it will be open only 2 more weeks. So when participating to the 3-month adopters program or replication program, when we say these terms, it's always the same. So basically there are 3 main benefits for companies to participate in this program. First of all, you will receive support of a designer who is mainly a design thinking expert. And this designer, as well as the business mentors that Ola has already mentioned, they will work with you on the creation of a business case. Let's say once you have delivered this business case, you will receive 15,000 euro lump sum, let's say as a compensation for your efforts to create this business case. But besides working on this one, you will also get additional information on private and public financing opportunities, which you might need to continue your way to a circular business model after the replication program has ended. And before starting your application for the replication program, please make sure that you match the eligibility criteria. First of all, companies that apply need to be an SME, and SME includes also startups, by the way. So the European Commission has defined an SME as to say it's simple, a company with less than 250 employees and an annual turnover less or equal to 50 million euro or an annual balance sheet less or equal to 43 million euro. Another important point, especially as we have participants from Israel and Switzerland today with us, your company needs to be located in one of the EU member states or an overseas country linked to the member states, or the country needs to be associated to the Horizon 2020. And this would apply for Switzerland and Israel. But so don't worry, you will get the presentation with all the links, so you can have a look if the country you're located in is part of this associated countries list. Within C-VoUCHER, we also have an eligibility criterion that's related to your area of activity. So when you complete the application form, you will basically describe your circular business idea. And this idea needs to be linked to one of the 6 circular solutions we are already supporting in C-VoUCHER, or to one of the circular building blocks you see here. And so as you can see on the slide, there are 6 companies we are currently supporting. And on the website of the adopters call, all these 6 companies are described. So you can go there after the webinar, have a look and see if your idea is in line with what these companies do. Or if not, you can refer to these building blocks. When starting your application, I personally would suggest to go to C-VoUCHER.com, find your way to the adopters call website. This is the huge blue wave. So when you see this wave, you know you're on the right page. And so this is not only the wave on this website. You need to scroll down to see a lot of information. And there you will also find these 6 circularity solutions. But on this page, there's also the important part about documents. And I would claim that these documents answer 95% of your questions. So on the one side, you have the guide for applicants. And this describes in very detail every step of the application and selection and evaluation of the applications. And this, for example, also contains a description of the circular building blocks. So if you're wondering if you are, for example, performance economy, platform economy, or sharing economy, this is all explained in these documents. The application form itself will look like this. You obviously need to complete everything with a red star on it. And just for you to know, after the end of the application phase, external evaluators will take over, and they will basically score your part about the excellence, the impact, the implementation, and the transversal criteria. So once you have submitted the application, the evaluators will take over in November. And latest by mid-December, you will receive the result if you're one of the 18 companies selected for the replication program or not. From this point, we will take over with a, let's call it a kickoff webinar for the replication program to inform all selected 18 companies what will going on. The program itself will start in early January and will continue until end of March. So as you see on the slide, there are some milestones within these 3 months we have to reach to make sure that everything is working well, that there's a progress on your side. If there might be difficulties, we need to solve them. But by end of March next year, you need to pitch your business case to BLUMORPHO and other selected C-VoUCHER consortium partners. And so this, during this final pitch, we need to approve your business case. The moment your business case is approved, FundingBox and Ola can make the payment of the 15,000 euro to your company. In case we do not approve your business case in this meeting, you will get the chance to work again and to improve in case something is missing. So at the end of the 3-month replication program, what will you have? Of course, you will have worked intensively with a design thinking expert, but also with the business mentors. You will have the business case, including the roadmap. And the roadmap basically means what you have, which steps do you need to undertake to implement the solution you have in mind. But at the end of the replication program, you will also have an idea of private and public funding sources that you can target to further develop your idea. So to sum up, application for the replication program or for the adopters call is open only 2 weeks from now, so hurry. In November, there will be external evaluators checking all eligible applications. And latest by mid-December, you will know if you're among the 18 selected companies or not. And then we will give you, during a 1-hour webinar, more detailed information on the replication program itself. So as mentioned a few times, so the program is 3 months. You will get the support of a designer, so a design thinking expert, of the business mentors. You will develop a business case, and you will get information on private and public funding support. I know this is a lot of information in a very short time. So let's have a look to your questions right now. The question is, Ola, can an SME apply together with a supporting partner, which is also an SME?
Unfortunately not. These are single applications only. So you can't make an application in a team. However, if you're applying to the bigger call that we'll discuss in a minute, maybe the other partner could be your technology supplier. And I will tell a bit more about that as well. In this call that we're referring to, adopters call, only singular SMEs can apply.
Okay, thank you, Ola. In case someone else has a question for the replication program, this would be the moment to write it down in the question box. Okay, I guess it's not the case. So we would start speaking about the famous circularity call, Ola.
Yes. Very exciting. All right, so you heard about the, let's call it a smaller option in the situation that you just want to try out a new circular business model, but you're not sure where to start. Adopters is your thing. If you're a bit farther down the road and you identified potential areas that you would like to improve at your business, you feel like there is a technology that could help you, and you just need to go shopping and you need an advice where to shop exactly, Circularity Call is something for you. So basically, we're giving away money for your technology purchase. You're going to tell us which technology and why makes sense in this particular context. In order to help you with this decision, we'll give you a designer that will be working with you and reshaping the entire business model, the value chain, the stakeholder structure, all the players on your line that could be impacted as well. So at the end of the day, you have a description of what you need to do and a professional assistance here. Then we'll give you the money to actually buy the technology that is required. And plus on top, we'll tell you what to do further. So this is again the same concept as adopters call. Your program will start by this 2 months of analysis period. So that's when the designer is sitting down with you, visiting your premises. Actually, the person is traveling to meet you. And once the plan is done, we call it pre-definition investment plan. You know what you're doing. We can move on and we can start executing, or you could start executing here. So what I mean by that is that you will be asked to identify together with a designer again, preliminary technologies and the technology suppliers on the market that you might need. And this is the case of the previous question. If you feel there is somebody that works closely with you, this company could be actually your technology supplier. Maybe this is the case. So if they are helpful in your transformation journey, they could kind of join C-VoUCHER from a different angle, providing the technology for you. At the end of this concept of execution, of course, the mentors will see how the elements match together. How is your new business model doing? And if it makes sense, you will go to the world and say, well, that's the amazing idea I came up with. That's my circular breakthrough concept. Please fund me. So for that, again, the private and public funding opportunities will be identified with you. One disclaimer here, all the negotiations, let's say with the private investment world, are done by you. So we're not taking any shares. We are not participating in it actively. We can just teach you, coach you how to organize the process and which door to knock at. However, we will not be participating in the legal agreements. It's an opportunity for your company only. So the application process, it's very easy. We try to stay away from these huge Horizon 2020 open call schemes that you need to comply with and present all the historical data and the documents and compile hundreds of pages of description. We're trying to keep it very focused and very short, to be honest. Everything is done online. So in case of Circularity program, you have the deadline till the end of this year. So just before you start your New Year's Eve party, 5 o'clock p.m. Brussels time, the C-VoUCHER will close its recruitment. So please visit the website that you see here, SMEs Open called FundingBox, and this is your entry point to the application form beneath, and it's basically the similar concept as with adopters. 3 major blocks to address. The external jurors score you based on short descriptions, on your potential to scale up later, on your vision of how to improve the business, and all the criteria, by the way, something that Ramona mentioned, all the criteria are presented in the documents section, so you will be able to see what the external experts are scoring and why and how. Basically, it gives you a very good insight into what is expected and what you should be actually presenting. If there are any questions, C-VoUCHER help desk email, as I was saying before, it also gets to me. So you will have a chance to maybe clarify something or to ask about some particular case. We can't review your entire proposals in full, I would say. I can basically read the descriptions and advise you in general, or if that's a legal framework that you're referring to, I can guide you further. So this is a good option. We always are very busy with this email. And people are asking lots of different things. By the way, majority of questions from this email are also made public after being anonymized, of course, so there are no names shown ever. But we have a document that's called Frequently Asked Questions. So if you enter the website, go to Guides and Documents here, you will see the FAQ file. Please read that before applying. It's really important for you to understand what the requirements are, what we're asking for, and what you will get at the end of the day. Basic criteria in order for you to qualify: yes, a European SME, of course, from the member states or associated countries, overseas territories. A small remark about the situation with the United Kingdom. In the light of Brexit, and this is also mentioned in our legal documents, the guide for applicants, on the day that Great Britain leaves the European Union, the funding stops. So if you happen to be from this territory, unfortunately, as long as you're in, you're in. However, the next day we'll need to cease all the contracts with you. The funding that you will get till this moment of Brexit will stay with you. However, there will be no more batches of money transferred to you. So please make sure that you control the risk here as much as possible. And obviously, we can't address the open calls to anybody, anywhere, and in any scope. We prioritized 5 different sectors that we believe are crucial in this circular transformation period. So health, blue growth, which is the quality of water or fishing, for example, textile, agro-food, and manufacturing are preferred by us. There is another option in the application form. If you cannot fit into any of these, you can say other. However, C-VoUCHER was designed to support these particular sectors, as these are the traditional ones in Europe and they need the most help. So then we're also telling you which problems we saw in these sectors. If you can match any of the problems, say, that sounds like my story, it reminds me of my particular case. I have an issue with resource management in my manufacturing premises. We want you to see the challenges we defined and align yourself, if you can, with the problems we see. And the reason why we have the list of issues is very easy. We want to bring up models that will improve the entire sectors. We are not interested in extremely unique scenarios as much as they can be very innovative. We're looking for solutions across sectors. So something that could be replicated, scaled up, brought to a different region in Europe. Somewhere that the person managing another business will see the same obstacle on the way. That's why the European Commission funds these types of projects. They want to see them grow in scale so that the money invested initially is used very, very wisely. And then this third angle, if you wish, to look at the C-VoUCHER open call. If you're from a given sector and you can see a particular problem that you want to solve, our idea here is to give you a technology that belongs to what we called prioritized technologies. And again, this is just to structure, limit, but not in the bad way, limit in order to operate better the scope of C-VoUCHER. We listed several technologies that are key when it comes to circular economy transformations. So most probably the finalists will be aligning their solutions with one of these technologies. If you're outside of this scope, however, this is a huge and wide catalog. If you're outside, please apply by all means. It might be something that we missed on the way and we can still fund you. However, these are also what the Commission calls key enabling technologies. So these are the areas to address, and these are prioritized from both sides, from the Commission to support growth and from the SMEs to uptake. So that's why we have them here. A short timeline of what will happen and when exactly. So in Circularity program, the last day of the year is your deadline. We're going to be very quick evaluating your proposal. So again, that's the big advantage over the usual Horizon 2020 projects. In January, we're basically dedicating our time and our experts, external people time to value your proposals. Then shortlisted people will be discussed and kind of selected further by the consortium of C-VoUCHER and invited to the bootcamp. The bootcamp is an actual physical meeting. We already know that it will happen first week of March in Paris. This event is funded, so you will get money to attend the bootcamp. The bootcamp is an opportunity for you to pitch your idea. We're going to shortlist 13 SMEs that will meet us in Paris, and 6 of them will be moving forward. So that's the pitching competition that you want to win. If you're in at the end of the day, this is when the voucher with the money will be released at some point for you. If you were unfortunately not successful during the bootcamp, that's the end of story with Circularity program. We have adopters call next year, so maybe it will give you a boost to apply once again. And then the acceleration program itself, it will start in March, right after the bootcamp. So you will be given your designer, and then the designer and you together will form a team to identify the technology implementation. Once you're on the way there and the execution is moving forward, you will be given the mentorship by business experts, and hopefully we can find you some additional funding other beyond C-VoUCHER so that you can grow a little bit farther. At this point, if there are any questions, absolutely, I can take them, or C-VoUCHER help desk email, or join our spaces and address us there. Ramona, do we have any questions now?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
But I try to focus on the circularity for the beginning. If I have understood well, in the circularity call, an SME must present a loan and then can involve a technology supplier during the project?
No, there are no loan requirements. So what you're presenting day one in application is your case. You're telling us what you're doing, what's not working, how you want to improve it as of today with your basic knowledge. And then we're going to give you the designer, and the designer will try to narrow down the idea, precise it, and make it feasible. At this point, if the idea is planned entirely, we're just going to finance whatever you need to purchase up to 60,000 euros. It's actually 58 because you will use the 2K to join the bootcamp prior. So there is no need for you to co-finance anything. The technology price up to 58 will be paid by a project, so you don't need to put any money on the table here, and you will not be asked to use your shares or transfer your shares to whoever in the consortium nor the European Commission. So no loans required and no promise from a bank required as well.
But the SME itself will apply a loan to the circularity call, and on a later stage, they can involve a technology supplier.
Yes, the technology supplier arrives during the second stage of the program, once you have everything planned. So then you know which technology and in which respect you want to have as a selected one.
Just one additional information for the participants, a technology supplier, this can be a research organization or an SME. So it's not possible that you have large corporates as technology suppliers.
Yes, exactly. And these suppliers, as these are European public funds, they also need to be coming from the European Union. So please keep it on your mind that contracting somebody from the US, let's say, will not be possible here unless they have an office in Europe.
But there again, Israel would be possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, if a SME has already been funded by another EU program, such as Horizon 2020, is it still possible to apply to this program at the same time?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and the short answer is yes. Our only restriction here is if you got any money from C-VoUCHER before, so we're looking at our project only, then your maximum grant amount is 60,000. So if you were in the first round and you got your 60K and you apply now, provided that you would be selected, actually your maximum is already used. So no other interference with outside projects is being analyzed here. And that's a very, very special thing for C-VoUCHER, as I know that in different initiatives, you're cross-checking various grants. Here, only within C-VoUCHER money that was distributed so far. And frankly, I don't see the possibility of reapplying from the previous round to this one successfully. The timeline overlaps. It would be very difficult. So if you never applied to us, very safe to assume you're good to go.
Okay, then we have a question for the replication program. Is there a condition for receiving the 15,000 euro at the end of the replication program? Yes, of course, you have to deliver the business case and it needs to be approved by C-VoUCHER partners. As soon as it's approved, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just saying that every time there is public money distributed, there will be some kind of requirement. Luckily, in case of C-VoUCHER, it's not a major dedication. It's more about your willingness to learn, your time spent, and the result. So in this case, the business plan, as Ramona said. If you're on track, if you're working with us, if you deliver the case at the end of the day, if it makes sense, if it's a logic and feasible plan, that's really it. So we want you to stay engaged and we want your high energy in the program, because if we can't see that, then it means that the money maybe could have been spent on another company in a better way, and that's not a good news for you.
Another question for the Circularity program. Can the SME pinpoint their technology supplier from the application phase?
Yes, absolutely. If you already know who you need, who they are, why, tell us. It only shows the best news ever, that you're ready, you're prepared, you're aware, and that the plan that you will create in the initial stage will be so much stronger. So absolutely, they can't apply with you, as I was saying, but please bring the name and tell us why it's important to have this particular technology. It's only for good here, yes.
So there's no need to have 3 offers?
Well, the three offers come in once you are in the program. So once you're choosing the supplier from the market, this particular company and two others, at least two others, will be asked to produce an offer. Because it might be that your chosen technology on day one is extremely expensive, it's not competitive, and in comparison to other suppliers on the market, it might not have all the functionalities. So let's take it step by step, identify who you think could help you right now. We'll see into the detail why this company is your potential supplier and does it make sense. That's why you have a designer support to really reanalyze, reshape things in a very concrete way. So let's take it for the application phase only. This is your vision for now. If it will be the supplier that you will contract at the end of the day, that's too early to say.
Then we got an explanation from, how to say it in English, Joseph, who has a hardware software platform. Generally, Joseph, if you are active in one of these sectors, of course you can try to apply, but from what you have put in the question box, I see you really as a technology provider for the companies. So from my side, as I'm responsible for the technology providers, I would contact you back to make sure you're part of the C-VoUCHER community.
Maybe I can add something to make the vision of the program a little bit more clear. So what we're looking for here is actually a quite traditional company with a very stable story, saying we are in this business for 2, 7, 30 years, and now we face the time that actually the resources, let's say it's your waste. However, of course, it's not the only aspect. And now the waste that you generate could be reused. Maybe the technologies are up to that. Maybe you're ready just now. So this is the ideal case scenario. You were producing something, you were offering services in the health sector, you were fishing for years, and now you're ready to reorganize the way you manage your resources. So that's our ideal scenario. We are not looking for people who are already circular, who are massively circulating the side parts from the production process, for instance. We're looking for the ones that want to approach the circular economy. And that's why C-VoUCHER was created in the first place, to dynamize or activate, in a way, the traditional business sectors in Europe. So we're looking for people who are just at the beginning of the journey, and we want to help them pinpoint the technology that will enable the entire change. If you produce this technology already, so let's say you're doing a high advanced recycling machinery, you are more on the technology supplier side. So you might be contacted if we find you an SME that requires your expertise in particular to go circular. So then you might be joining the project from a different side, supplying the technology to a partner. However, the traditional, very at the very beginner stage project is something we're looking for. To give you an example from our current acceleration program, we have a company from Bulgaria producing silk, the material, for many, many years now. And the silk cocoons were actually the side part of the process, the waste. Until now, the company was trying to remove the cocoons, burn it, somehow get away from the burden of having them all over the premises. And then they realized there is an option of transforming the silk cocoons, the waste, into a protein powder that could be used to feed stock animals. So in short, maybe a farmer from their region or a person at the other side of Europe could use the protein as a natural supplement for feeding stock animals. And then it's a win-win situation. So that's an ideal story we're looking for. The traditional business that spotted the opportunity and is willing to learn and reshape the entire business model, either reuse their own waste in this case, or go cross sector, maybe find another area of business activity somewhere, connect with another sector, and just make, you know, one person's garbage another person's treasure, because this is the essence of this story. So if you have this scenario on your mind, absolutely, that's something that I would encourage you to apply with. If you're on the technology supplier side, I would encourage you to stay in touch with us, go at the register at the community, or write to me at the help desk email, and I will make sure that your details are there in case your expertise is matching the need. Sorry for this long interruption.
No, it was definitely interesting to hear the example. One important question, Ola, can the same company participate to both programs?
That's again a very good question. Given the timelines and the overlapping of programs and the requirement that you are in one acceleration program only, the answer is no. Unfortunately, we are very tight in C-VoUCHER. We have no margins. We can't really prolong the processes. So in this particular case, 2 calls, not possible to do that. However, there's one more call next year. If you would be willing to start with Circularity, reverse the order in a way, start with Circularity this time, go through technology implementation, and maybe there is a spin-off from your business that could apply next year to adopters call, this is feasible. Hitting both calls this time, very risky option. Plus, at the end of the day, if you're admitted to 2, you will need to drop one, they overlap in time. It won't be the best solution, no.
Okay, thank you, Ola. These are all questions we have for the moment.
Okay.
So give me a moment. Okay, I think we do not need to sum up again the difference between both programs. I think it's quite clear. At the end of the presentation, we have another question for you. Now that you have heard the information about both calls, we would like to know for which of the 2 programs you would like to apply, or maybe you don't want to apply at all. So share your view with us. Okay, thank you very much for this input. I give you some more seconds as I see that some people now are clicking. Okay, I will close the survey in 3, 2, 1. Too late. Okay, so thank you very much for your participation today. This is a very short overview where to find all the information, the general ones for the replication program, for the circularity program, and also how to ask Ola specific questions on both calls. So again, from our side, many thanks. And also thank you for all your questions. And latest tomorrow, I will share the presentation and the recording with all of you. Ola, any final remarks from your side?
Well, have fun with it and just good luck. We're very, very interested in learning what you're doing. So the application is short and sweet. Give it 20 minutes and it will be all over, I'm sure. And your story might be actually an amazing one. So absolutely, please apply.
Okay, then thank you, everybody. And yeah, have a great week. We look forward to receive all your applications.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, everybody. And thank you, Ramona.
Thank you, Ola.
Cheers. Bye-bye.